Hi, hello, welcome to Cloud Technologies. In this video, we are going to see how you are going to consume a SOAP web service by using web service consumer in Mule4. Okay, so till now we have seen how to consume a REST service by using another connectors and how we are exposing the service as a REST API, something like that. So in this video, we are going to see how we can consume a specific SOAP service with the number of operations available. So to demonstrate this, I have taken one Wsdl available globally, which is free. This is nothing but a calculator Wsdl. Okay, and in this Wsdl, this Wsdl is nothing but the web service descriptive language. So if you would like to consume any SOAP service, you will get this Wsdl URL. This Wsdl URL is nothing but it has, once you open this Wsdl URL, it has the complete details about that particular SOAP web service. Like what are the operations they have developed, and what are the inputs and outputs, request and response for that particular SOAP service and particular operations and all. So every brief information you will find in this Wsdl file. So in your real-time projects, if you had a requirement like to consume any particular SOAP service in your Mule flow, and by consuming that SOAP service, you need to fetch some data and we need to insert into some other third point like database, like SOAP to database integration or SOAP to another REST service integration, so whatever it may be. So first you need to get this Wsdl from your client. Okay, so let's see how we can analyze this Wsdl first to understand what is the details. So you will receive only this URL. Okay, and if that Wsdl is having any security, like username, password security, or any authentication, any kind of authentication, then you will receive that username, password, and the other authentication details also that you need to pass it in header. But for now, in our example, this Wsdl is globally available for free, so it doesn't have any security for now. So let's see how what are the different operations are there and how we can consume it. Okay. And before we have started this video, if you are visiting our channel for the first time, please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for the notifications to be received whenever we uploaded a new tutorial. Okay. Okay, let's get started. So this is your Wsdl. Once you got that URL, you need to open this Wsdl in any of the browser, Chrome, IE, or whatever it may be. You can just open it. It should some Wsdls have this schema section and few doesn't contain it. So this schema what will tell you, like for each and every operation, it will tell you what is the request and what is the response. Okay, so let's first ignore this schema. Let's see what are the different operations available in your web service. So how they implement this web service, how they build this web service, that is not useful at this point, because we no need to get into details like how they implemented their service. But we need to understand and we need to analyze what are the different operations available in that particular SOAP service, how we are going to consume it. Only these two details we needed. Okay. So to analyze that, you will find one tag called the Wsdl operation. See how many Wsdl operations tags are there in your Wsdl. That many operations this SOAP service will contain. That is one blind thing you need to remember. Okay, so Wsdl colon operation. So likewise, we have four Wsdl operations here. So as this is a calculator service, I have said earlier, so it has add operation, subtract, multiply, and divide. So these are the four different operation tags we have. Okay, so by using this, we can understand this one. I mean, this particular web service have only four operations. That is add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Okay. But for which operation, I mean for each and every operation, what is the request and what is the response? Those details you will find under this schema section. See S colon schema, right? So here you will find the element and element name is add. So for each and every operation available in your SOAP service, it has each and every element section, and for each and every element you have one request and response. See what is the first operation in your Wsdl? This is add, right? So with the same name, you have a element here. This is nothing but a request for that particular add operation. So for this complex type sequence, and you can find this sequence like these two. This is your request. It means you need to send integer A, integer B. That is nothing but two different integers, two different numbers you need to send as a request to this add operation. And this is add response, if you can see. So once you send these two input parameters as a request for your add operation, you will get a add response as a response object. So what is available in that add response? Only one element. That is nothing but add result. So in order to consume this add operation of this particular SOAP service, you need to select this add operation and you need to select these two integers from your payload as an input to this particular service. And once you hit that service, you will get the response as add response as your response from the SOAP URL, that SOAP service in your flow. Clear? So just like that, let's see another operations also. So what is the second operation available here? Second one is subtract. So what is the input output for that? Required response for that subtract. So this is the second element subtract, and the request, it is again two integers. That is the request for the subtract operation, and response subtract response. So the response from your subtract operation is subtract result. So you need to send two input parameters and you will get one input parameter as a result by doing that particular operation. So how that operation is going to perform in the backend is not that is not used at this point. You don't need to worry about that particular operation, like how it is going to build in the backend. Okay. Okay. So let's start. Let's take this Wsdl. Okay. Let's see how we can consume this SOAP service in our Mule flow. So to do that, actually I have created one new web service demo application. I'll remove this flow. I will remove this one. I'll tell you from scratch. So yeah, in order to demonstrate this SOAP service, I have created a new project. Okay, and here I have take one flow which is having HTTP listener as usual, which for our local testing we are going to use, and I have added one logger here, just flow started for web service consumer. That's just a simple logger I have added. So to consume this Wsdl in your Mule application, you have one particular connector which is called web service consumer. You need to search for web service consumer. So drag and drop that. Okay. So this web service consumer connector is actually used to connect to your SOAP service. It will useful to you to consume your SOAP service. Okay. So you need to configure this connector first. This is my old connector, so I'll tell you how you can configure. You need to, for the first time, you will find blank here. You need to click on plus icon. So it will ask you for the connection details. So whatever the Wsdl URL you have copied, you need to paste it here. So in our case, this is our Wsdl URL, right? So you need to just copy and paste it here. Okay, once it is analyzing the metadata and all, it will populate the remaining values for you. So for the first time, it will take some time to add this metadata and search for this service and all. See, within a couple of seconds, it got added, this calculator. So once you paste this Wsdl here, just wait for a couple of seconds or 1 minute. It will populate that service. So this is calculator service, and you need to select the port here. We have two different SOAP versions available, SOAP 11 and 12. By default, it will have SOAP 11. So you need to select the port also, SOAP 11. So just click on this arrow mark. See, calculator SOAP 12. There is no number here, right? So that is nothing but calculator SOAP 11 version. Calculator SOAP 12 is another version. If you select the SOAP version here 12, you need to select this particular port. But we have selected SOAP 11 as a default, so you need to select the first one, right? So once you select this port, this address will automatically populate. You don't need to write anything here. Clear? So Okay, yeah, let's click on OK. So we have configured the connector. Now you need to select the operation here. So once you configured the Wsdl and once the global connector configuration has been done successfully, what it will do for you, this your connector will populate all the operations available in that particular web service. So you need to click here, see, add, divide, multiply, subtract. If you can observe here, these are the 4 operations available in your Wsdl, in your SOAP service, which we have seen just now, right? How you can find out what are the different operations? By using Wsdl operation tag, right? So see this Wsdl operation tag, we have 4 operations: add, subtract, multiply, divide. So what are the operations available in your SOAP service? It will populate here for you under this operation button once you configure the global connector. Okay, so you can select any of the operation from here. So let's test the add operation first, then the remaining operations also will be pretty much same. Okay, let's select the add operation. So in order to perform this addition of two numbers by using this web service, what I have to do, I need to send a two integers as a payload, and then I need to send that two integers as a request to this SOAP service, right? Okay, let's save this. I'll tell you how you can send a request for this SOAP service. Okay, as we have used the HTTP listener in our service, okay, you need to send you can test it by using postman, and you can send a post body for this particular service. Okay, in order, by default this HTTP listener is a get method, so you need to, if you would like to send the JSON as an input for this post method, you need to do couple of configuration in this listener. Just double click on this. What you have to do, you need to just go to advanced, and you need to select the method as post. Okay, so here you need to give method as post. By default it will take get methods only. Once you specify it post method, it will act as a post method of a REST service. So you can send payload, while triggering this flow by using postman, you can send a payload by using postman body, and you can map that. Okay, right, so you can just go to listener advanced, and you need to create, you need to enter post here, and this path is same, testing SOAP, and our port is 8088. So till now we are fine. Okay, now you need to send a request to this particular consumer. So in order to send that SOAP request, you need to use transform view, that data view. Just drag and drop the data view before this consume connector. Okay, see, you need to remember one thing. Whenever you drag and drop particular connector before that one, the transform view, this data view have three different sections like input, output, and payload. Okay, output of this particular data view, that is nothing but this one. Output section of this data view is nothing but input to the next connector available after the data view. Clear? So here data view output section has add int a int b. This is nothing but input, that is request of particular SOAP service for this SOAP consumer, web service consumer connector, input of this connector. But this is actually output from that data view. Don't get confused. So this add method will have input have two integers, right? If you can see the schema again, which we have analyzed earlier, for this add operation, you have two int a, int b as your SOAP request. That is what it is showing here. See, add is your operation, int a, int b is your input request. So that is nothing but the input request of this web service to call this add operation. So that will be automatically loaded once you drag and drop the data view. So it will be pretty easy for you. Instead of remembering everything and doing it manually, writing everything here, you can just drag and drop the data view before that web service consumer. It will show you under the output section of that data view, it will show you what is the request we need to send for that next connector, that is web service consumer. Okay, so here what you will do, as we are going to send the these two integers from the payload, you need to just map that payload values here. So let's assume that I am going to send a request by using this postman body, and you need to select JSON here. See, I would like to enter my URL, and while hitting that URL, I'm going to send a payload from this postman. Just for your understanding, I am giving the values here. So as a JSON, I would like to give first number, at least, or else first 20. Okay, these are the two numbers I am going to send dynamically from my postman body, and these two numbers I need to map dynamically here to send as a request. Okay, to do that, what you have to do, you need to map this first number to this int a. Okay, and the second number you need to map for this int b, of that particular service. Okay, so how we can do that transformation here? So in order to do that, you need to just double click on these things. So as I already double click on the int b, it will populate that transform here. See, int b, it is showing null. So you need to double click on this. You need to double click on these numbers. It will transform that DataWeave logic automatically for you. See, earlier it was application slash Java and empty braces. Once you double click on this, it will form the namespace and the structure for you. So this is the actually user friendly of the DataWeave. Okay, so it will be very easy for you now to map that payload. So what you have to do, so for this int a, we need to map the first number, right? But this number is actually coming from the payload, that is nothing but the request. So what you can do is like, you need to map payload dot first, payload dot second for these two numbers. Okay, so you can just simply map in that way. Payload dot first, this is nothing, this first is nothing but the key name of here. So here my key is first, here my key is second. So you need to map in that way. Whatever the name you have given here, you need to map that name by using payload dot that name here. Okay, now this one is payload dot second. Okay, that's it. So now you have mapped the request for this web service. Okay, let's save this. And in order to get the response out of this web service consumer, we will just place one more transform DataWeave here. So now this time, this DataWeave input for this DataWeave is that output of that web service. Okay, so see, if you can see here, see, input section of DataWeave contain add response. This DataWeave I have opened, and input section of for this particular DataWeave connector is nothing but add response, which is actually response, output from that previous connector. Again, let's see here. See, this is the add response, right? This is the response of this add operation. That is what is showing here. That add response is that response from this web service consumer. That this is what the input for this DataWeave. Okay, so instead of doing all the mappings and all, let's just print this one in JSON format. Okay, by mistake I have removed one dash here. Okay, so instead of doing any other transformation, let's print the actual payload which is coming out of this web service consumer. That is like we are printing, we are actually capturing the complete result which is coming from this SOAP request. Whatever the format it is available, we are just printing in JSON format. Okay, so let's save and run this. We'll see how we can do these operations. Yeah, it got deployed. Let's test this application. So I have formed my endpoint localhost 8088 testing SOAP, and this method is post this time because we have mapped our listener to post method to send the body, right? So you need to change the method as post and the body, the endpoint URL, and under the body section you need to select the raw and JSON. You need to send this message, because from this body of the message it will take the first and second number, it will dynamically map it in this data view, and it will produce the result, right? So let's send a request. I didn't say any logos, so let's wait this request to be processed. Yeah, now this logger got printed. Flow started for web service consumer. Now it will invoke it. Let's see the response. It will take some time, it seems. I'm just checking the mappings, whether I have given that the proper way or not. I'm just rechecking it in the meanwhile. Yeah. Now if you can observe, we got the response as add response, and add result is 55. 20 plus 35, 55. Right? So how this operation is going to perform in the backend? That is specific to that web service developer, and how they develop their service by using which language and all. Okay. Only thing we need to see, we need to send the input request, SOAP request, and how we can get the response. Let us change these numbers and see, request it one more time, because we have already mapped it dynamically, right? So I'm just changing it to 60 and 15. This time we will expect 75 as response, right? So I'm sending it again. Yeah, 60 plus 15, 75. So this is how you are going to consume any SOAP service in your Mule4 flow by using Web Service Consumer Connector. You need to send the request and response by using DataWeave in this format. Right. Hope you like this video. Please like, share, and subscribe for Class Technologies for more video tutorials. And if you want to have any online one-to-one training on any of the technologies which we have provided, even for MuleSoft, SAP, and Azure DevOps, please drop a mail to us. We will send you the training details to you, so that will be helpful for you to start your one-to-one training. Okay. Thank you. Happy learning.